the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro. This beast has been my main camera for the past 6 months, and I dare to say that I put this camera through its paces. I gotta be honest, beside that one little thing that I will address later in this video, there's not too much I can complain about. It's an amazing camera, it does exactly what I want it to be, and of course the most important aspect is the image quality is outstanding. Many of you know that I used the Pocket 4K before I got the 6K Pro. And over the past 6 months, a lot of you guys asked me whether I like the Pocket 4K or the 6K Pro more. Well, I gotta be honest, I recently sold my Pocket 4K together with my underwater housing, and it's not because I don't like it, but more because this camera has everything that I want of a camera. I can just throw it in my bag, take some batteries, a lens, and a card with me, and I can start shooting. I don't have to rig it out completely in order to use it, and that is a massive selling point. Of course, the internal NDs, the beautiful screen, and all the useful side plugins? No, that's not even the right word. The useful connections on the side make it very versatile. Okay, let's go over a couple things that I've discovered over the past 6 months and I really do like about this camera. Let's start with the first one, the quality. And I think I've mentioned this a couple times already. But the quality in this camera is insane. The ability to shoot a 12-bit image in full 6K on a Super 35 sensor is insane to me. And you can push this image to the moon and back and still retain detail, and it looks as crisp as you would want it. The camera lets you shoot in 2 different codecs, which is B-RAW and ProRes. B-RAW is basically only used on 6K full sensor size. So whenever you crop down, for example, you want the anamorphic or you want a 2.7K image, it can do this, but it will crop in on the sensor. Also, if you want to shoot ProRes, this is only available in 4K DCI and 4K UHD and HD. And one thing to keep in mind is whenever the camera says windowed sensor, it means that it is cropping in on the sensor. The only 3 modes that are not cropped in are full 6K, UHD in ProRes, and HD in ProRes. Those 3 sort of formats or sizes utilizes the entire size of the sensor. All the other sizes are being cropped in, which is still usable, but not really nice. I often use Blackmagic RAW in Q5 using the full 6K sensor, and I shoot this for more important projects. If I need to use the footage to push a lot more, then I probably use this kind of setting. If I shoot more social content, then I'll probably use ProRes LT in UHD. So you can say that I use 6K to get a very clean 4K image, and I use UHD to get a very nice clean HD image. The next thing we're talking about is the stills function, and this is such a tiny button, but it is actually quite remarkable, and it is very good. So the Pocket 6K Pro features a Super 35 sensor that lets you shoot in a 6144 by 3556 pixel size, which is a whopping 21.2 megapixels. And the craziest thing of it all is that it allows you to capture these images in full DNG RAW. What? Yes, so you get a full DNG RAW file that you can literally push to Jupiter and back and still remain nice and crisp. Take a look at this image I took of a cow on a cliff in Spain. Look at the detail of this photo. It is insane. Of course, you get the amazing color quality that the Blackmagic offers, but also you get the crisp and the nice dynamic range that DNG offers. So it's kind of best of both worlds, really. Now, of course, you are shooting stills with the film settings, so if there's something passing in front of the lens really quickly, it will be blurry. So think about it whenever you shoot stills with this camera. All right, the next thing, and this will probably raise your eyebrows a little bit, but yes, I think personally that the battery life is quite good. And I've watched pretty much all the reviews on the Pocket 6K Pro so far, and everybody is complaining about the battery life. And that is something I kind of can understand, but not really. I mean, yes, the batteries last for approximately 1 hour. And yeah, I mean, this is 1 full hour of footage. That's a lot. And the crazy thing is that this camera is booting up in 2 or 3 seconds. So you can literally just flip it out in between takes. Yes, of course, on a bigger shoot that won't work, but on hiking trips, or if you go into the wild or shoot wildlife or anything like that, you can do it while you're walking to a next spot and preserve battery life this way. And I personally think that this is amazing because I can bring a handful of these MPF 55 batteries with me and then just go on a hike and shoot all day with them. Of course, on a bigger shoot where the camera needs to be powered on all day long, I'll just bring a couple V-Log batteries, put them on the back, and that runs the camera and my HoloLens and my external big 7-inch monitor for the entire day. But for more like running gun style videos that I do quite often, I do like to only bring the small battery. And you gotta remember that that small battery is powering not only the internals of this camera, but also the super bright 1500 nit screen. Also, many of you guys know that I like to rig my camera to a minimum. I don't like to bring all these unnecessary accessories with me on shoots. Of course, if a shoot requires me to bring a matte box because I, put filters in front or a follow focus or top panel with a monitor and all that stuff, then I do, of course. But personally, I like to use this setup way more. I just put a little P-long plate on the bottom and a rod system, so I can use a follow focus or a lens support for my long tailor lenses. But overall, this would be the thing that I bring to shoots. I just like to be minimalistic, especially because it just makes me much more flexible in what I do. I personally think this camera is worth every penny. And I just got off the phone with a friend of mine asking what I thought about this camera. And he was searching for a setup that he, of course, just like what I just said, can throw in his bag, pick it up, put a battery, a card, and a lens in there, and just start shooting. And that is the great thing about this camera. It allows you to do that. But it also allows you to rig it out completely to a monster camera that allows you to shoot an entire day on a few batteries that you can hot swap or whatever you think about rigging that thing up with. But this just allows you to work with and be versatile, be flexible, and try things out. And that is the crazy, cool, nice thing about this camera. Crazy, cool, nice thing. That's a new one. Anyway, there's one thing though, and this is actually my only problem that I have with this camera, and that is the infrared contamination issue. And if you don't know what infrared lighting is, I can give you an entire lecture on this, but indie mogul Ted and the former president of the ASC in America did a very cool podcast, or like a video podcast on this topic already. So I will link that in the description below, but make sure you watch this video first and then head over there, because otherwise you'll miss important steps, or important details and stuff. Infrared lighting looks ridiculous, especially if you wear black shirts. Your black shirt will become kind of a brownish purple color that just is not recoverable, and that is especially the issue on ND6. And not always, but in very bright lighting you sometimes see some of that contamination issues arise. And there is of course an easy fix for that, to use screw-on filters, but I just don't really like to use additional filters. So I really hoped that they, would include some sort of a filter that you can put behind the lens that can stay there. I know Raw Light makes kind of these filters, but I haven't tried them yet, but I definitely will. But yeah, so only on ND6, this is a minor problem, not a huge one though, but in bright sunny days, I always bring a IR cut filter with me these days. So that is the only thing. And overall, that's it. There's nothing else I don't like about this camera. That's crazy. Yeah. All right, guys, let's do something together. Yeah. All right. So grab your pen and paper. And who knows? Blackmagic is watching this video. I'm not sure, but maybe. let's make a wish list together. Yeah? Name 3 things that you want the Pocket 6K Pro to be updated with, either firmware or maybe hardware even, and just be realistic, of course. Don't go overboard, but all right, I'll start. The first one being, I would love to see an update on the SD card usage. Right now I have my, what's it called? It's the Angel Bird CF2 cards. This is basically the card that I always shoot with. I've got 2 of them. It's a 256 gigabyte card, and that lasts me more than enough. But there is, of course, another SD card slot in there that doesn't do anything at all. And I don't really get it why. Of course, it is their lower entry model, but still, it is called Pro. So why don't we ask Blackmagic to incorporate a function that you can shoot proxies on your SD cards and shoot your main files on your CF cards, right? So let's write it. No, I'm not gonna write that down. But the second thing is, please get some sort of a shutter speed option in there so you can shoot proper time lapses. Right now, the lowest shutter speed you can go to is 1/5 of a second, and I would love to see some sort of a shutter speed custom function for time lapses. For example, if you tap the time lapse button, that it says, hey, do you want to shoot epic time lapses? Click this button, and then suddenly it goes to like 1 out of 1. I'm not sure how you say that. 2-second shutter? I don't know. Anyway, you know what I mean, because now I'm using my EOS R, which I'm filming on right now, to shoot my time lapses with, but I would love to just do it in this camera as well. And I'm not sure if it's possible. Maybe it's a mechanical thing, or I'm not sure. I'm not a camera builder, but you know what I mean. It would be kind of cool. The last thing that I would wish, and this is the last one, and this is a hardware one, I would like be going mental if they would take out one of the mini XLRs and put an SDI output in there. Like, that would be the ultimate thing. Then this camera is just, I don't know. I don't know what to say, because then I can use these little tiny cables in my underwater housing, and that's just so much more convenient than these thick, like, dumb HDMI cables. Anyway, Blackmagic, if you're listening, phone me up and tell me that it's working. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I know I've been rambling a lot, but hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this kind of motivated you to either get this camera or ask me follow-up questions in the comments below, because I don't know, man. I just love this camera, and I would love to help you decide whether this camera is for you or not. So let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Next Monday, I'll be on some of the islands in Portugal. Very dope, yeah. But I'll probably prep a video, so that will go online whenever I'm there. Anyway, thank you so much. Man, I'm rambling. Okay. By the way, what do you think of this new setup? It's not really done yet. It is sort of portable right now, but I want to make it a fixed setup. Kind of stoked, because I can just literally fire up the camera and just go with the flow, instead of you know, having to build out the entire thing in my living room and spend 2 hours. I literally just flip the switch and things will start happening. Anyway, I'll walk over to the camera and cut you guys out. Thank you.